is the joeZONE.
Yeah, this is the joeZONE. Today I have with me stunt coordinator. This guy, I heard about him like long before I even met him. Mr. Grant Powell, how you doing?
Yo. Again, I'm going to start saying one time, hearing yourself through these cans is really
Something else.
it's something else. But I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm happy to be on your podcast. And
Yeah, man. So like I said, like when I first heard about you, like I heard you were doing like, I don't know if it was a Guinness Book of Records or something like that, but you were setting yourself a light. That's the first time I read about this guy in an article. Thinking, who's this guy doing stunts like? And then like somehow I met you along the way and yeah, we do jiu-jitsu now together.
we train together.
Yeah,
Crazy.
so I had finally the opportunity to sneak in there and say, "Yay, go on me." And I've been hounding you actually now. I asked you a couple of times, when are you going to do the podcast? When are you going to do the podcast?
Yeah, I am, brother. Yeah, I am.
So yeah, we're here, Brahmin. And I done some research about your dingus, about your past, but maybe we must play. Can we play this clip? This Investic clip. It's quite a cool one. Invest in Cape Town. I hope they're not gonna block us for it or something like that.
I know. This will be the second time I've ever seen this. I only saw it at the campaign itself.
Yeah, but it tells a bit about your past, like.
Dope. Would be dope to see.
Oh, have you got volume on it?
This campaign, I believe, was just before COVID hit,
Is it?
and nothing really, came of it. I guess they just wanted to show some positive stories,
Yeah. So you were at the gym one day and then they just came down and they wanted to interview.
Cape Town. This is the film mecca of South Africa. This is home to the stunning guy. This is Grant Powell, the stuntman. Grant is 40 years old,
Shot nicely, eh?
5'4" and ripped, shredded. But more than anything, he's a Cape Townian.
Born and bred.
Grant's been punched,
Always been.
thrown, set on fire. Powell's hard work and teaching.
Oh, did you
Investing
skip it?
in Cape Town.
Oh shit!
He skipped the whole He skipped the whole thing. Okay, but never mind. We it is like quite a dope ad. Quite a cool investing Cape Town.
Yeah, that's where I started out.
Eventually,
The
his
Tanga
friends got
Junction.
him to apply.
They gave me R5, put me in a taxi. I went to the audition and made it all up.
He got the job and overnight became famous throughout Cape Town's burgeoning film industry. Just kidding.
I was the guy in the character suit entertaining kids.
But in between shifts,
A
Grant
guy in a
started hanging
character
around
suit
with the guys
entertaining
doing other
kids.
shows.
That's what I did,
First,
bro. I was that
Puppeteer,
bright in that suit at the light is moving like that.
So that's where it
So
started.
at first I
Hey,
was
bro, I
just
always
training
feel for that
fun.
man because I know.
Thought it was cool, but I knew my opportunity would come one day. So I was just at the right place at the right time.
Genius.
Thanks.
It worked. In 1998, he got his big break and a new job. Get punched in the face for laughs. Grant was officially part of the stunt show.
Here we go.
From there, things got crazy.
Sure. So this is a whole of the clips here of basically of you doing stunts, loads of stunts. There, that's the one where you lit yourself on fire.
Today,
Well,
Grant
I
and
didn't-
one of
I
his
didn't-
oldest friends.
You didn't light yourself on fire. You weren't part of that.
But the
No,
secret to
we
his
were the
success-
ones lighting them on fire.
Stunts, I fell
Okay,
in
we
love
can
with.
talk about it
Cape
then.
Town, being the movie capital of SA, was the perfect place for me to pursue my dreams. And I knew that I just had to work hard and keep going to be the best at it.
But Grant does more than play fight. He teaches. In so doing, he's growing Cape Town's film industry. One pretend punch
He's good,
at a
Gary.
time.
This is dope, bro. I gotta get
Coming
this
up in
video
the
and
game, I
upload
had
it to my
mentors
YouTube.
teach me. So it's only fair that I teach the next generation and pass on the skills and continue the legacy of stunts and action design in Cape Town so that the stunt industry can be the best in the world.
Cape Town's film industry.
So this is
Grant Powell's hard work and
legit
teaching.
the second time I've ever seen it.
Investing in Cape Town.
But you never saw it edited like
Nah,
that.
I didn't even know it. I didn't.
They added a lot of edits to it. You can see his post.
They obviously like got stuff off my Facebook.
You can see there's a lot of posts done on that. Yeah.
Got some clips of YouTube, obviously.
Yeah.
And then they just put it together. They cut that.
Yeah, I mean,
It was
so
there for a very short time, actually. Like I was actually smack bang. You see there in that clip, Jared Geduld is there.
Yeah.
And I'm actually training him for indemnity that day.
okay.
And then they pulled in, like it's the only day they can do it. I think they were Joburg-based camera crew. I was like, hey, I'm actually on the clock here, but stick it. But it was cool because now they got to see, hey,
Exactly what you do.
What is this man doing,
Yeah.
you know? And shot those couple of clips that you see in the gym.
Yeah.
And then the rest, they obviously stitched the rest together.
It's dope, eh? It's well put together, man.
Dope,
So you
dope,
started off at Ratanga Junction. Let's start off there at Ratanga Junction.
Yeah,
What were you that one of the mascots or something like that?
Kijk, me, bro, I've told the story so many times. I've always tried to, how do I say, give the abridged version of it, you know?
A quick version
The quick
of it.
version of it. Where do I start? Okay. I think I'm 18. I had a paar Noata jobs before that. Didn't finish school. Was a bit delinquent, you know. I think at 17 I was shot. I was shot at 17, so I couldn't finish school. So I was just on the bad side of the tracks, you know. Bad. I don't even want to say bad friends, man. They were good friends of mine, you know. It was just, you know, in the wrong place.
In the wrong place, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Growing
That's-
up in a...
You know, and up until that point, maybe no lies, I don't think I had a single white friend. And I was 18 years old. I don't think I've ever engaged like, hey, this is my bra. You know what I mean? So it was a weird time that time, you know.
You just grew up in Strandfontein,
I
right?
grew up in Rocklands in Strandfontein.
Okay.
So but most of my life in Strandfontein because my grandparents were you know, from Strandfontein, all my bras in Strandfontein. But Strandfontein, that's where I grew up. Rocklands, Henkel Road in Mitchell's Plain. My mom still lives there. So I'm very much still there, still in Strandfontein. I don't live in Strandfontein anymore, but yeah. So, you know, that time I used to look for jobs in the newspaper.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There wasn't the internet that
there
time.
wasn't. So my sister found this ad. She finds this ad and she's like, hey, you'll be perfect for this job.
Yeah.
Every Friday I would ask her for the 20. I'm going to go for the interview. But can't I buy a pasta and a paar bieren? And
Get
we
some
laugh like
bucks.
the ones already knew, hey, I got my 20 fast. My 20 is fast, you know. And then she cut out this clip. She's like, you'll be perfect for this. You know, and the ad was for chaperones, you know.
Ratanga Junction.
Ratanga Junction.
Was Ratanga Junction just starting out
They
at
were
that time?
building, they'd been building this place for like 2 years already,
Okay.
you know.
So you were one of the first people to work there?
Yeah, we opened, Canal Walk wasn't built yet, bruh.
Okay.
They were, wasn't even built yet. And so I leave this thing in my jacket, this ad, you know, and I ignored it. I was like already full from going to all this Noata interviews, cuck jobs and shit. You know, I was well on my way to just slanging daga, you know what I mean? And just
Wasting your time.
yeah, there was fuck all to do, you know, no job. Half of brasses sitting at home on the street corner. We used to go lam and smoke at this place called the White House. It was an abandoned farmhouse in Pant Road. The mongrels now run that place. Many people freak there already since then.
Jesus.
You know, so we used to lam there, smoke boom to kak, sape, you know, from the mornings until the night, my bro, you know, because no one would come there. It's in Pant Road, it's on the farm, you know, and I pulled out this ad. I pulled out this because I wanted to sway a pill with this ad, with this newspaper ad. And my brother's like, what is this? I'm like, nah, it's a thing. My sister said I must go for this job. It's for a tanga and what, I don't know. They're like, me bro, you will be ready for this job. Geroek, we there, geroek. I'm like, okay, cool. They put me legit, get in a taxi, go to this thing. It's at 5 o'clock. It's at the Waterfront Theatre School. My bro, I didn't even have a CV. I didn't have nothing. I just got into the taxi. I lined. Met my first white bra. His name's John Potter, wherever he is in the world today. Shout out to him. Met this bra. They're like, nah, we also going to this audition, dude. He was like a surfer. He's like, hey, bro, we going to this audition, man. I'm like, yeah, nah, here's the ad. Poof, we get there, my bro. They're like, okay, everyone's here with their tannies and shit, you know, from ballet schools and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, my bro. And Fred Abramse, who's a well-known theater director, you know, he owned the Gua's Warehouse. He was just now doing this Peter Pan at Canal Walk or whatever. He's like a mogul in like theater, in the theater world.
Okay.
And anyway, they were running this thing. Audition there. Check, I told you I'm gonna give you the short version. I'm in the fucking long
Nah,
version.
it's alright. We got enough time, bruh. We got all the time.
Kijk, we go there. I'm the first bra up. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. Plus, I'm blazed up, bro. I'm blazed up. I'm eating 50-cent knickknacks, you know. And I bought them on the rank. I'm like, yo. Kijk, I still try, legit, swear to God, try to escape. I said, I'm just going to go to the toilet quickly. I'm like, nah, me bro, man, this
Oh, you pop. You just not leave this
like.
like...
This is too much for me, my bro. I don't know this world, you know what I mean? I'm there in a leather jacket, cap, you know. This means it's all singing and going crazy. And plus, no escape, me, bro. I come out, wash my face, come out. They're like, again, yes, there's going to be a cobra, there's going to be this, all these theme rides they're describing, and they're like, again, you got a minute to talk about all of us. Sell us this thing. Make me want to get on this ride. It's like a full-on audition, right?
Okay.
Recorded and what, the whole main audience, you know. But
you must convince them to get on a ride.
Get on a ride,
a theater.
Because now you auditioning to be a chaperone, you know.
Okay.
Like to take people around the park.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. I'm a foul-mouthed kid. Limited vocab. Straight from the plane. But I can sell you anything, you know, if you give me, you know. And I'm like, my bro, I was told to talk for a minute. I think I spoke for 5 minutes. No one stopped me. Eventually, they're like, nah, cool, sold, blah, blah, blah. Shit, you know, about 20 of that kids got up and left, my bro. They're like, nah, bro, we don't go against that shit. This bro was just rapping, you know what I mean? Poof. Anyway, it goes fuck.
You just freestyled.
I just freestyle that shit, you know what I mean? Because I used to perform in school. I was always a performer. Always, from sub-A, every Valentine's Day, every, you know, at that time in school, the school function is at Space Odyssey or at the gala. I'm performing, my bro. I'm rapping or I'm in a dance group. I'm always, you know. So I wasn't foreign to public speaking or foreign to being in front of a crowd.
Or being on stage.
Or being on stage, essentially.
Yeah, we spoke about this like previously in one of the episodes. This girl, like, this lady, Candace, she always did like music like while she was growing up, like pianos and stuff like that playing, and I'd Stedfords and like ballet. So when she eventually did comedy one day, which is totally different to that, she just adapted to it, but she felt comfortable on stage. So I sort of understand what you were saying. Totally. You were always doing it before, so that muscle was always being exercised.
It was just the fear, you know.
Yeah.
And then once you let go, you know, and you just open up, you just go. Anyway, bro. Audition is klaar. Next thing, they bring out their suits, you know what I mean? Like literally like a chicken licken suit, my bro. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And,
like an animal.
Yeah, like a fucking animal, you know. And
okay.
I get in the suit. They show us some 5-step Stephen McFarlane. He's actually now the owner of, I think they call Blue Ice. Shout out to Stephen if he's listening out there. They're like a casting agency. A lot of the good actors out there today, he's their agent, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, he was like a dancer. He shows us the moves, my bro. They start playing music. I forget all that moves. I dial on my own moves. I make that chicken suit ruk, my bro. They were entertained. I made that thing alive, you know. And that was that, you know.
So you just were your own self. You went there and you were yourself. You would be yourself. Like you never heard something say, just be yourself. You just went there and were yourself.
I was my authentic self. Left there, went back, still took the wrong train, ended up in Heathfield. Had to phone my brother to come fetch me. Poof, it was nighttime. Went home, cock excited. Told him about the story.
High of acting.
Yeah, but that time I was already down from the boom, you know.
But high
from the experience.
Oh yeah.
The experience, it opened my eyes. And you must remember before that I didn't know much other than going to the Joel, you know. Going to matinees and going to clubs was my life, you know, as a teenager. And so I didn't know this world, you know. Let alone the diversity of the people, you know, which kind of excited me. Came back to the street corner, told the brass of the story. They were like, bro, that fucking no. Did you get the job? I'm like, I don't know. They said they're going to phone me. Focal cell phone that time, obviously. House line, landline. Right now I'm living with my ma, right? My grandmother. Rest her soul, she's obviously gone today. I'm living with my grandma, delinquent kid. Weeks go by, bruh. Weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the story's fading. I'm telling the story every week.
Nobody believes you.
Everyone's like, again the fucking audition story. Fuck that. You know what I mean? And they want to know about the kinders and what. And, you know, eventually the story kind of faded. I get home one day. It was on a Friday. Boom. Phone rings. The house phone. You know, and we had this house phone
I remember those.
On a wooden, it looks like a shelf, you know, in the passage. And the phone was on there on a doily, you know what I mean? The phone was probably white to begin with, it was cream now already, you know. Phone rings, I pick up the phone. But no shit, bro, it's Stephen McFarlane. He's like, hey, Grant, we've been looking for you, we've been phoning. I'm like, what? I'm like, ma, het die mense van my gebel? She's like, oh ja, die man het heel tyd van jou gebel. Ek het vergeet om vir jou te sê. I'm like, what? They're like, listen here, we filled up, but we kept your spot. You know, we got the 10. They were only looking for 10 people. And we've been phoning you for weeks, but we kept your spot. Like, can you stick it Monday? Can you start Monday? I'm like, yeah, sure, where? Nah, they're rehearsing in Milnerton and shit. I'm like, I'm there, my bro, I'm over the moon. I think I got a sight that night. I can't remember. I was just excited. I was like, fuck, you know. Get there Monday. The rest is fucking history, man. Got there. You know, then I saw, oh, yes, circus Owens, yes, dancers, yes, puppet Owens, like puppeteers, weird shit, you know. I'm like,
different skills.
What does this Owens do? You know, life is full circle, but I'm working with Craig Leo today on my latest project. But anyway, saw them there, saw my would then become my business partner later, saw Vernon. He was like the only colored brother that was doing shit, you know. He was in the stunt. They already had like a little stunt department there that was doing a live show. Saw them. I get there and I'm excited and they're like, oh no, they all doing these setups like the opening march for the show. So I'm like, okay, now where do I fit in? They're like, poof, yeah, they put that fucking suit there. Not the chicken suit now, it was the character suit of the park.
Yeah.
Like the Mickey Mouse of the park, let's call it that.
Yeah, I remember that character.
This characters, whatever, Rico, I can't remember all their names, but
Meerkat wasn't one or something.
Nah, that was way after. That was when Manix. Remember the park closed down and
it came over again.
Someone else bought it over. I'm talking about when that place had money, bruh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Oh, where do I sit? This Owens is coming, they tumblers, this means is coming. Like an opening march, you know. Bah, they throw the suit down. I'm like, they're like, you the bra in the suit, I must now. You know, for the lighties and what. And I'm like, okay, fuck it. Get in the suit, gooi my moves, do some MJ moves or whatever. I was just excited to have a job, bruh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just excited, let alone in an entertainment, in a world that I wanted to be in all my life anyway.
Like the arts, like the theaters and stuff like that.
Yeah, like just entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertainment, you know. I had a brief out of school, straight in. I had some shitty jobs, but straight into entertainment. So I can really say I'm blessed in that regard. Like, that's all I know, you know what I mean? The different facets of it. Got into the suit. Now I'm going to fast forward the story. Now I'm a character minder. In the park, I'm basically the bottom of the totem pole. Because I don't have to do much. I have to be in the suit 3 times a day by contract.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid a shitload of money at the time. I was like, what? Are you paying me this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To be in a suit.
To be in a suit. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm in the morning in the suit, the afternoon, and when the place closed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had time to go look at all the other shows, go watch the stunt show,
Learn.
go watch the puppet show. Just watch it. I just watch it. Lam, Brassa, the dancers. Watch. Lo and behold, one day, the puppet Owens, they were the Tati gang, me bro. They were like a bunch of mal Owens, you know. Queer mal mensen. This is weird mensen. And they used to sleep in party. And one day, the one who lost his voice, and he was like, me bro, I said, I know all your lines because I watch your show every day. He's like, can you do the lines? Because I can't speak. I'll work the puppet and you do the voice. And I would mimic his voice, you know. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stunt show. And it's a puppet, you know what I mean? That's mimicking like the real show, you know. And cool. So I was like his stand-in, you know what I mean? So he knew on days when he's babalas, I got his back. You know what I mean? Eventually, I was like, well, I know the voice. I might as well learn the puppet strings. So he taught me that art. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, cool.
The puppeteer.
I can puppeteer. Then one day in the stunt show, they were like, listen, we need a camera guy. Like, it's like they're shooting a fake movie, right? So it's like I'm the dude that sat on the fake crane. You know, it's like a fake movie. Like, they're making a movie, but it's fake, you know? So it's showing the crowd how a movie's made, and I'm like the bra. I'm the camera operator, you know. And then I started fleshing that shit out, you know what I mean? I started like taking a light meter, you know, I separate couples, you know. I'll be like, if I see as a couple, I'm like, you must sit over there. All the kinders, I tell him to sit on the side, separate people, like a crowd warmer. It became like...
It's almost like a bit of, like comedy.
Yeah,
comedic
I'm crowd
stuff.
warming, you know, scanning the mensen out, you know, because the stage
Warming
hands,
up a crowd, yeah.
you know, telling them to lift me up, nah, bring me, just fucking around, make, you know, and they were like, nah, they need that, you know, and but what that did was, it meant I'm watching the show every day. Every day I'm watching the show. I'm doing this like, I wouldn't say for free. I'm still paid as a childminder, but I'm getting involved. You know what I mean? In all other facets, you know. And so one day they were doing a show for Pick and Pay. I'll never forget their staff.
Staff party.
The place was only open for Pick and Pay, so it was a massive crowd. Maybe like
I remember when they used to do the staff parties there.
yeah, so moerse crowd, my bro. And a friend of mine, Bruce Stoll, shout out to Bruce Stoll if he's listening. He got injured, like badly, like his knee got jacked or whatever. And
Sure, doing a stunt.
yeah, it's like a live stunt show. You can't make a mistake, you know, it's live. And so this bra falls, bang, comes out. The director's like, oh shit, Bruce is fucked. We can't stop the show, you know. This man just paid the park. Who knows how much? Millions maybe, you know, to have
For the
Western
function,
Capes,
yeah.
you know, and the crowders was enjoying this movement because now they must not seeing, hey, they seeing a colored bro there doing his thing up, crowd warming, you know what I mean? Now they're like, hey, what we gonna do? I say, hey, I know his moves, move for move. They're like, what? And they force because there's a break in the show, right? I put on his gap, my bro, no shit. The first thing I had to do was fall out of this tower behind the bar that had mats behind it, so it looked like I fell to my death, you know what I mean? But can't
It was land on the soft.
yeah, there's mats behind the thing and whatever. And I'd never practiced that. I'd never practiced it. I knew I could do the fight stuff. You know?
How old were you when you fell like it?
So I must have been about 20
odd. Okay.
20, 21. No,
Okay, so you were still fearless. I got a bit of a fear of heights now. That's
yeah,
why
I
But
certainly had it
you were
at the
young.
time. And but I just dialed at me. But I knew, like I said in that video, that I knew this was my opportunity because they were letting me do that shit every day, but they weren't really letting me in. You know what I mean? It's like, that's what you're gonna do. You're the crowd warmer. You know, we like you there. If we lose this, you know, who else is gonna do that? So, you know, replaced Bruce for the stunt show. Obviously, the dog's injured, so I have to replace him. From there on, rest is history. We did the stunt show. I was there. I was now in the stunt show.
That was it.
You know, that was it. And then in the stunt show itself, the senior stunt guys were, sometimes they take off and they were doing a show called Sinbad at the time, you know? And Sinbad, it was shot
The
here.
movie,
The TV
like
series,
TV
the
series, yeah. TV series. Wasn't it shot there at Cape Town Studios or something like that?
Nah, not at Cape Town. Cape Town
Not
wasn't even
there.
built yet at the time.
Okay.
Cape Town Studios weren't built. And,
But they shot this series.
Anton Foster, Richard Thompson, Hawk, rest his soul, he's passed on now. And so they would tell us about, we're going to go to set, you know, we got 2 days on set. And tell us these stories of them being on a movie set, you know, because we were like stuntmen, but essentially it was just live theater, live action theater is what it was. But they taught us, you know, the foundations, the fundamentals of sword fighting, reactions. We were still close to explosions. We were still doing high falls. So, you know, we were doing legit stuff, but not for a real movie.
Yeah.
And boof, place closed down, bruh.
Everything got closed down.
First they canceled the dances. Then they canceled the puppets. Then, not the puppets, the children's entertainment stayed. But they were slowly but surely closing down. I'd say a year before.
Losing money, bro.
The place was losing money. But because I had continued with all that kids stuff, so I stayed on. You know what I mean? Because I had that skill behind me. So I stayed on, enjoyed that. Place closed down. End up back on the street, back on the same corner. Same story again. The brass is like, hey bro, what kind of? I'm like, hey bro, it was a dream. It's clear now. You know what I mean? I was like, shit. I was like a proper blue collar guy earning a salary and shit. I want you to go with me to Lentegeur to go draw UIF, you know? You know when you draw UIF, you start and they first give you a whole salary for like 2 months and it gets incrementally less, you know? So I was like, that's like my, you know, that's my, I still get making money, you know? But then I already bought my Ford Escort and whatever, you know? I lived with the clubs and shit, so living with my grandma, I think I paid like 500 Rand a month to stay there and whatever.
Sure.
So life was lekker that time, you know? Didn't have responsibilities really. But I was jobless essentially. And then I bumped into this other bro, Cecil Carter, shout out wherever he is today. He was a stunt coordinator back in the day. And I bumped into him at Canal Walk. And he's like, hey, he's an Irish guy. He's like, hey, I remember you from Stunt Show. I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you want to double a guy in a movie? I'm like, yeah, what must I do? He's like, nah, this microlight's gonna... It's actually a love story, but there's a stunt in the movie where this dude wants to kill his wife's lover with a fucking microlight. I'm like, okay, what's a microlight? It's like a fucking... It's like a miniature plane, you know? With a motor behind it and this big wheels. Sure. I'm like, cool, man, I'll do that shit, no problem. I was now in need of a job, right? Plus, I've always heard about this movie shit. Boom. I end up there on this movie set. And
who are you doubling?
A good friend of mine, Denver Vragum. You know that guy that does the kiddies maths on TV? Denver Vragum. He's also like a shout out Denver if you listen. Denver Vragum. He's a well-known actor.
So you doubled him your first movie?
He was my bride at the time anyway. We were brasa.
Okay, why?
Because his girlfriend at the time, Ilse Oppelt, was crazy, man. The connections are crazy. But anyway, I'm like, I know that bra. That's my bra. And he's like, I'm the same size as him because he's quite a, small in stature kind of guy. And cool, I knew that the task at hand was to not run. That's my man over there. That's my brother. Cool. I had to wait till the last minute, like this dude's coming with this micro. I look small from there, when it's up.
What's the real airplane?
Yeah, fucking real thing, bro. and I'm like, shit. And this thing's small and it's getting bigger and bigger. But the shot only matters on the tail end because they already shot the beginning with him.
Okay.
Like running away, They only need the contact with me, So they're not worried about the top end of the shot. So I'm like, all good. And he's like, hold, stand your ground, don't run. And my bro, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to start running, my bro. And I screw up the first take big time. Pulls me aside. He's one of the old school fucking dear event coordinators. Kaks me out in front of everyone. He's like, you wait till I say you go.
But now, so what does the plane do?
It's got to hit me with a wheel. The wheel's got to hit me on my back.
So you ran before the plane dingus?
Yeah. Before the plane got there, I gooid. The plane must get low. And he's like, you know how much money we spend?
Is it a real plane like?
Like a microlight. You know what a microlight is?
It's a small plane, basically.
Like a one-man.
Yeah.
Looks like a glider.
Okay.
With wheels and a motor at the back.
Okay.
But these things are quite intimidating and big,
Yeah,
and
obviously
loud.
If something's flying behind you, it's like hitting you.
And this bra's got to hit me like this. So I got to hold my line. I got to hold my line. Obviously, the propeller's in some kind of a cage, But this thing can still hit you. I mean,
yeah.
He's not landing.
Any impact at that speed, probably.
Yeah, it's a gag, bro. So, anyway, take 2. Hold my ground. This fucking thing's coming. I hold. I listen to him. I gooi. My bro, that thing hit me. Wind uit. I'm like an ostrich, my bro. My head's in the ground. Bah! I just hear applause, my bro. People going nuts. Like, yo, fuck, that's the take. Shit. Are you okay? Are you alive, bro? I had like a little back pad on. And but that thing hit me wind uit, my bro. And I was like, that was my first movie stunt, And
so the thing was supposed to make contact to you.
Yeah,
That's the intention of the whole shot.
Yeah,
hit
my
you.
bro.
And does it kill the bra or does it just hurt him?
It's an attempted kill on him.
Oh, it's attempted thing. He just like rolls and then they put in the other guy. I'm fucked up, but Gandhi, you got messed up.
I'm the one that took the hit. Yeah, and in the movie, he's like in the hospital and shit. So that was that. And he's like, okay, this actor's doing another movie. Once you're in, you're doubling him again. You is double now. For his next movie, I'm like, okay, cool.
That guy,
Denver, yeah.
Why? So you in?
I'm in. Next thing, do another movie. We in Gansbaai. I have to fall off this cliff in a rig. Never did a rig in my life. And basically just bomb down this mountain and I stop before the ground. It's like a decel. They call it a decel. And it basically stops me just before I hit the rocks, bro. Obviously, they put some bats there and shit.
Okay.
And they just put a green over it, so
So these were all like South African movies.
Nah, they were all international movies. They were all French movies at the time.
Okay, international thing.
Yeah,
but when was your first like big like sort of introduction to like a Hollywoody type vibes? Like, how did it move from? So you were just doing movies all the time, like afterwards. How did it like? When did it pop off? Like,
Nah, things were like, you
Is
know,
it a
at the
gradual
it was a gradual thing because at the time it wasn't like now. Like now there's like 5 massive projects happening right now. Massive, big, massive budget films happening right now. You know, so now the Owens are spoiled for choice. You know, back then, my bro, if you did 3-4 days on a movie, that's a lot. You know, you were paid well, you were adjusted well.
So the film industry from that point like gradually started increasing until what you say what we have now.
Exactly. So in the interim, I was still getting, you know, I was still touching on my other skills. Let's call it that.
Okay, you were learning
I would say the first biggie for me was probably 10,000 BC. We shot that in 2005.
I remember that movie.
Because now we were like, yay.
That was a Hollywood, like, that's what I mean, like a Hollywood type
that
movie.
Was big. That was big.
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
with a big budget movie.
Big ass budget. We were like,
because that had like graphics and 3D CG.
It was the director from Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
He does all
that one. Yeah.
That was that movie. Yeah, and I was part of the core stunt team. You know what I mean. And we went up to Namibia for months, and lived out in the desert for 6 months.
When this was shot in Namibia,
New Zealand, Cape Town.
But they took like South African
all over the world. There were
people.
Yeah, there was like a New Zealand stunt team, UK, and South African stunt team, and I went up there. And
there's a South African stunt team.
Yeah, Owens from Joburg. That's where I met most of the other colored Bruce. You know, I thought like, yo, me and V is probably the only colored. I don't see any others. You know, and then. You know, I met all these guys, and you know, some are we still very close, some today, and we did this movie. But this was really where things turned for me, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. But that said, you do a movie now, you get quiet for 2 months. You gotta be smart. It's that kind of. A lot of Owens think, it's the glitz and the glamour, especially nowadays with the advent of social media.
Yeah.
Everything that glitters is gold. You know. Can't he? That Owens is maybe only there 2-3 days they were in the movie. You know what I mean? What they do for the rest of the month, you know? Yeah. So you got to have other skills and all those skills that I attained at Ritanga, you know, because then I went on to meet through Denver, right, who I doubled. I met Ilse. Through Ilse, I met Oscar. Through Oscar, I met Abdu. And together we ended up doing Angels Everywhere. I just met him at a party in Woodstock.
Just pull up, watch the mic.
I met him at a party in Woodstock, blazed up, and Oscar looked at me and he said, "My bro, we're gonna do a show together one day." And I was like, "Get the fuck out of here! I'm gonna do no show." This is Oscar Peterson of Joe Barber, right? And he's like, "My bro, we're gonna do a show together." Just blazed up talking shit, right? All good. Lo and behold, bro. Ilse calls me up. She's like, listen, so we've got this show, right? We've got no venue, no sponsor, no nothing. But we think you will be perfect. Join us on this journey. So I'm like, yeah, I've got like a couple of days here on a movie, and then I'm at home. But yeah, I'll stick out.
What's the journey?
Like this journey of this theater production called Angels Everywhere, right?
Oh, okay.
And
so this is your first theater production, this?
I would say this was my first.
Okay, you done theater, obviously the Ritanga, but I mean real like production, like.
Yeah, but at this point we're doing it at Districts Cafe, bro, like with our own lights and like imagine the most raw show. You know, we played multiples.
What's the name of it? Angels Everywhere.
Angels Everywhere. Yeah, Angels Everywhere. The poster should come up there. He was the director of it. He directed it.
So what is it about?
It was just about this couple that lived on the flats in Manenberg, and they were flower sellers, and it delved into the community of, like any community. That could have been Manenberg, could have been Westridge, could have been Rocklands, could have been anywhere. It's our people, you know. And we played multiple characters in this show. And I thought to myself, like, my bro, I don't even consider myself like a actor, you know what I mean? But of that show,
theater,
like proper. We did it at Districts Cafe.
Proper theater.
We did it at Districts Cafe. It blew up. We did it at the Baxter Theater. Blew up. We did it at Grahamstown. Blew up. We did it at Oudtshoorn.
You went to Grahamstown.
Took it to Oudtshoorn.
What year was that?
My bro, that must have been 2005 to 2007 or whatever the show was done. You know what I mean?
How did it do at Grahamstown? You must.
We blew up.
Yo, you sell outs and shit like that.
Abdurrahman Adams, Charlton George, Ilse Oepelt, original cast, and myself, I'm the unknown. Bronwyn van Graan eventually takes over from Ilse Oepelt. Rest her soul, she passed away. That was a sister of mine that I also met through the hip-hop community, you know what I mean? Through theater, man, through the arts.
The arts.
You know, I was just involved in the arts, let's call it that.
Yeah,
and
that's the
stunts
arts.
was kind of just another thing that I did, you know? But I was mainly known for this show, you know? And off that show, I'm in the Baxter one night, Janice Hanneman, who's a very well-known theater director, arguably one of the best in South Africa. She just walks up to me one day in the Baxter, we dik gesyp, and she's like, I got a role for you that I've written. I've watched the show 3 times. I'm not asking you to audition. You in the show. You don't say no to Janice Hanneman, bruh. And I'm like, I go across to the bar, say, hey, Janice Hanneman just had this interaction with me now. And the show was called Shirley, Goodness and Mercy. Zayn Mias was in
Another theater production.
Huge, bro.
I never knew.
Google Shirley, Goodness and Mercy, bro.
Okay, I never knew you did this is totally within me. Taking me. Okay, so you did theater.
Shirley, Goodness and Mercy.
I couldn't type
That's
now.
crazy, right? And I was like,
Surely goodness and mercy.
and at the same time, I'm doing this other movie, Tunnel Rat. So imagine this, I'm doing theater at night, and in the day I'm getting burnt. In the day I'm being ratcheted.
Yeah, surely goodness and mercy.
Yeah, Shirley, Goodness and Mercy is a book. And we did the theater adaptation, and you can go there, Shirley, Goodness and Mercy. Shame is Van Wyk is also, Chris Van Wyk has passed on since. And
Cool, man.
this theater show, I performed at the Baxter. There we go. I think it was in 2006, bro.
Yeah.
And you must just Google the theater show. I'm sure it'll pop up there. And Zayn Mias was in the lead. You can just put Zayn Mias in there. Shout out to Zayn Mias, good friend and mentor. I think he spelled with just Z-A-N-E. Zayn Mias, Leanne van Rooy. I mean, all the top dogs.
I know. But I never knew you were involved in theater. This is totally taken me by things. So that is you never had no theater training though.
Fuck cool, bro. You know where I trained?
Ratanga.
In the White House. We smoked boom and took shit. and I learned from all the characters, you know. And like with Angels, it was easy for me because I knew all those characters. I knew Griffel. I knew all these. I knew a chicken. I knew all these characters. These are the people I'm with every day. You know what I mean? So it was easy to mimic these people, you know, because it's in my community.
But I think maybe it's just like something that is inhuman because I mean, not everybody can take to the stage very easy. I do a bit of stand-up comedy, and it's like you can see I don't know. The stage is not easy for everybody to get on. Somehow I have the ability to maybe be more comfortable on stage. I'm still maybe not very good at writing and telling, delivering my jokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's some Owens that in Cape Town that's flames like. It's
crazy.
Carl Weber, and there's
Carl
so
Weber,
much.
shout out to Carl Weber.
Yeah, I mean,
hey man, at some point I was in Mike McCullough. I was MC for a lot of these shows at Grand West. He was like, hey, do you want to come in? Do you want to be the MC for my show?
Yeah.
I'm like, what show? He's like, Nashville Nights. And I'm like, what the fuck is that shit?
Doing the MC here.
Nah, we're gonna sing songs and shit, and you're gonna just talk in between.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's like, I think you're funny. Just come there and introduce the next act. And you're gonna come out in different costumes and talk cack to people. And that's what I did. You know, I did like 2 shows for him, and it was just weird, man. Like I said, my journey it's like a fucking tree. It's like everywhere, you know, it's like everywhere. And but I believe that's really what sets me apart from.
When did you start stunt coordinating? Like start like directing like
my stunt coordinating career really is like, I would say 5. What is it? We're into 2022. So say from 2015, 2016, I would say I naturally progressed to that because what happened was I was a stunt performer for years.
Yeah.
if you pull up my old stunt show reel, it looks like it's straight from the 90s, my bro. You know what I mean? It's like all pixelated and shit, you know, but you'll see that I performed stunts for many, many years. And then, you know, as I was going on, I realized, you know, the shit takes its toll on you eventually, you know.
Yeah.
But fight choreography was always kind of my passion, and I saw the gap in the market. I was like, you know, the old school guys, they're doing old school. I was fight designing over here this is for a movie called Thugs of Hindustan. This is in Mumbai, and I did the climax sequence, and this is all my action design over here. And this was for Amir Khan, you know. He's like a god in India.
I know that dude.
And this is in Mumbai in a hot room. The kick-ass stunt team, these guys are really the best. All these guys are like hot shots right now. Fleur, she's retired now. She was probably one of the best stunt girls ever in terms. She's just hard, man. This woman can take knocks and shit. But she's living her dream life now in Swellendam. She's like the face of Swellendam.
Hey.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, put that DOS in there, you know what I mean?
Dope, man.
That was dope. That was in India. I'm talking about my I think it'll say showreel teaser or something, which she cut for me, by the way. It's a very old video.
You did Queen Sona, so you did
The first Netflix original ever in Africa was Queen Sona.
Yeah.
Another crazy story, bro. We're gonna jump from fucking story to story.
No, we can go every way. Just cancel the volume.
I end up on a movie for the Antwoord, you know what I mean? End up coordinating this job.
That movie Chappie.
Nah, the movie was called Your Master P. Never saw the light of day.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm like, are you serious? Your Master P. I can't say it here, but you know.
Yeah.
And end up coordinating this job. A terrible job, you know. I'm going to be honest, straight up. It was difficult to work with, blah, 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 blah. But I bump into Kagiso Ladiga, right? He's got a cameo role.
Hectic.
So he's got a cameo role on it, right? The day I met him, I'm stopping two. Both Ed Owens is dead today. Anis and I forget the other guys. They're both dead. They're from Rocklands. And I'm stopping two gangsters from stabbing each other on set in the makeup tent, bro.
Why?
Nah, they just high. That one over there, 2 minutes and 18 seconds. So this is like my old ass. That's 10,000 BC. That's a movie, Tunnel Rats. India, Zanzibar.
Okay, but let's go back to the story. This is a good story, dude. You on the set of the Antwoord's mad place. They got the whole lot of gangsters there.
Yeah, he didn't
because
want
they
any-
stupid. Why they brought real gangsters on set.
They tell my whole stunt team, these guys look too healthy. I want real stunt guys. I'm like, I got to train these guys. So I, do some boot camp in Grabouw to train all these guys. Real Americans, I know most of them because they literally live in Matanis Road, And so I had a good rapport with them. Did the job.
Real gangsters.
Yeah, real gangsters. Like I said, half of them are dead today. And I bump into Kagiso and we start chatting and he's like, I sold my other movie to Netflix and what this movie called Catching Feelings.
I know, yeah.
Him and Paul Tussi's in this movie and, they sold it to Netflix and our Netflix said, listen here, have you got more content? We wanna break into the African market, They've never done an original. Now, you're going to see Netflix original on a lot of other cuck, but that's bought content. I'm talking about Netflix is vested in this year. So I'm like, cool, man. Cool. He's like, yeah, and it's with Pearl. I'm like, hey, I just did 2 movies back to back with Pearl. I did Bulletproof 2 and Scorpion King. And he's like, cool. I'm like, I show him on my cell phone. I'm like, I show him some rehearsal footage of Pearl. She's fucking good with a fucking weapon. She's just a good performer. Yeah. And he's like, shit, man, we got to do a fucking action, like a female action hero. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, man, she's the fucking one. Again, another conversation, another actor that I'm meeting, talking about the movie. This is usual, This always happens on a movie set. So leave that shit. I don't know what else I'm on after that. I get a call from Pearl. Poof. She's like, hey, Grant. Watch your mouth. You're on a conference call. Bah, and it's like the dude from Netflix, her and Kagiso is like a 3-way call. And they're like, listen, so we doing this movie, man, and these people, they don't want to do this movie without you. You're like, she won't do this movie unless you do the fights and shit for this
Stunt
movie.
coordinating.
I'm like, yeah, I'm coordinate this fight, so I'll bring a fight coordinator on as well, and of course I'm intricately involved in it as well. But I'm down. This is a real deal.
Yeah.
And long story short, end up in Johannesburg. Buff. It was on a very small budget, but I mean, you've seen it. It kind of set the bar, and now everyone's trying to get there, in terms of action.
No, I mean that was
fire, right?
I enjoyed the series. I enjoyed it was a high level, and I think it set the bar for then what's it, Blood and Water to then. To then come in.
Yes.
Because that set the bar for that Netflix series. It was like well shot. It was
because it had that Netflix involvement, and you can see it.
You can feel it.
Feel it. It's quality. Everything is because there's money. There's a budget now.
Yeah.
It's expensive to burn people, crash cars, and it's just very expensive. It's above the line. It's like it's very expensive. So for a local show to do that, you must know they're spending money. And boom, that was that. We were within the second episode. We were already booked to the second season, bro. And then COVID hits, right? I'm like in a panic, bro. We just sold our home in Strandfontein. We bought another house here in Westlake. And now COVID. What the fuck? Did I just sell up where I don't owe jack shit to come in, live in the burbs, and now I'm not gonna have any fucking work because COVID is freaking everyone out. We don't know what this thing is about. And bro, I get this crazy call from Marcel de Toit. She's a producer, wonderful soul. She phones me up. She's like, Grant, and I quoted this movie long ago for them. She's like, listen, this movie's greenlit. We're going to go shoot it in Mauritius. There's fuck all COVID there. If you and your team can test negative, we're on a chartered flight. The only people that can come into Cape Town, into Mauritius. And I'm like, at this point in time, Queen Sono season 2 kept being pushed. Because COVID, they don't know what to do. Because the second season, we're going to do a Pan-African show. We can't have an African spy only in Joburg. She's got to be in everywhere, right?
Yeah, all over Africa.
So this was the plan for season 2. So huge. We're going to go big. Netflix is in. Remember, this is the first.
Netflix is money.
So they like, now we're going to go big. And everything's broken down. Scripts broken down. Things budgeted and everything. But I'm like, I can't keep waiting, right? So I don't even tell them, bro. I'm like, I hit up my team. I'm like, we're going to Mauritius. We go to Mauritius. We should go shoot this movie, Prisons of Paradise. Is a love story. Probably had about 19 days of stunts there, but we were there for 70 days paid because they had no other choice, right? Because I'm stuck here. There's only one flight in and only one flight out. And so we're there on an island, my bro, having a time of our lives shooting this movie. And I'm there, and guess what, bro? I get another call. Poof. Alicia Keys is producing a show in Mauritius. And they're like, listen, you already here. We need a coordinator for this movie with she's gorgeous. What's her name? Christina
Milian.
Yeah. They we need doubles and
singers.
Shit. Yeah, no, they need doubles.
Oh, they're doing shows there?
No, they're doing a movie there.
Oh, movie?
Yeah. Love Island or whatever the fuck it's called, And I'm like, what the fuck? And this is the beauty of it now, right? Because now you're on Netflix's radar, You're on the Rolodex, you know what I mean? Stunt team was on their Rolodex because we did a kick-ass job on Queen Sono, right? Meanwhile, COVID's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. The only COVID that was in Mauritius was the COVID we brought there, bruh. By the time we left, there was like 1,000 people had COVID of the men so we brought in, you know what I mean? So I don't do that movie. My partner at the time, he's like, my business partner, he's like, poof. I hit him up. I'm like, man, bro, you got to do this movie. Stick it. Anyway, I can't be any much longer on this island, man, bro. All my photos is me on the beach and shit. My wife's going crazy. I have no wife if I go, gotta go back home. Boof. I get this call from another stunt coordinator, someone that I follow and I really admire him. He's on Instagram. We just Instagram friends.
Yeah.
Right? He hits me up. He's like, bro, I'm doing Resident Evil. in Cape Town. It's a done deal. Netflix. Poof. I'm like, nah, man. This man's paid me up front. I'm on another show, but Netflix knows. They know everything. They run shit, right?
So Resident Evil is also a Netflix show. So
a Netflix show. But I'm on another Netflix show, right? so he's like, so eventually they're like, nah, you know you're not. I'm like, what do you mean? Next day, termination letters, bro. The show gets cut. Season 2 gets cut. Of Queen Sono. I'm like, what? In the interim, my mentor is now, because I advised him I can't do the show. Right? I got a show for 3 months. Maybe I'll come afterwards, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll come onto the show afterwards. Not ideal because you want to be there from the beginning.
Did you leave Mauritius at that point?
Nah, I'm still in Mauritius at this point. I'm negotiating with him now. At this point, show gets passed on to my mentor. I'm now lost the contract. Not lost the contract, they got shut down because of COVID.
Couldn't shoot.
Mentor's like, listen here, I've got this movie, it's Resident Evil. Bring your whole team on board and let's do the show. Come to Cape Town. I think Indemnity. Just before I went to Mauritius, we did Indemnity. Just before that, Indemnity was done.
Indemnity was almost like during COVID.
Yeah. We got shut down. We it's COVID just fuck shit up. And eventually the team jumps on board. We do Resident Evil. The coordinator that called me actually ended up not doing the movie. He got COVID. Don't know what happened. He ended up going back to Vancouver. I think he's from Vancouver. Super nice guy. And in the end, we did the film. As you see Resident Evil right now.
Evil, yeah.
So that's our action design. They trained the actors. They did the whole thing. Did everything.
But do you see how all of this almost like came from that one music video?
Hey, bro. That's why you must never. Someone told me this. When I was still. When I was still going to all these castings as a stunt performer. You'd go to these castings all the time for a role or to double someone.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I'd get there and it's like, "My bro, why am I fucking you all zo ons is gebouwen?
Yeah.
Look, a Mexican and no. You maybe just briefly fit the bill, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah, my bro, this is not for me. But then I remember thinking, if I don't go into that room, I've got no reason not to go in there. Other than my fear. Everything is on the other side of that fear. Everything is on the other side of that door. And they're brutal. They'll be like, nah, you're too colored for this role. Nah, you're not the color we're looking for. Or how the casting directors can be cruel, you know what I mean? And but I never, when I had my number, they give you like a number. A lot of the times the people are, nah, they can't wait anymore, they line. For whatever reason they line. But I had no reason to line. Other than I'm feeling insecure or whatever.
Yeah, I must say you're in a very unique position because the movie industry is not necessarily a colored man's world.
It's not.
But yet your name always comes up first. Or not first, but in the stunt world it comes up
100%.
First, like very top of the Rolodex, like as you were just mentioning in that story. So, and we can be honest here, we're both not the tallest guys here around.
I'm an oddball, man.
We're not the biggest built dudes, but yet you are, what can I ask you, like, what do you think that makes you unique? Because there must be something that makes you stick out from
I think it's just the accumulation of my life experience and Ratanga Junction. That shitty ass job where I was the guy in the suit was everything for me because I learned everything there. Everything I learned there. All the connections I made was there. You know what I mean? And I think that's what sets me apart from the other coordinators because I've been on the other side. I've been on stage. I've done it on a high level.
Yeah.
Albeit not for like 10, 20 years, but I've been there. So I know what the processes are.
Yeah, there's a level of perseverance that you have that I think that is unique. So it's not in everybody.
So like I didn't want to do the Unwood movie, to be honest, because they kept moving it. But, it was passed on to me by another coordinator and I was like, my word is my bond. My word is my bond. You know what I mean? The same time when I did Resident Evil, you must remember Stunt team we on the Rolodex, we moving. We on the Rolodex, we doing movie after movie. When I did Resident Evil, I did it not under the stunt team banner, but merely as a fight choreographer for another coordinator. In other words, my business stood still, right? But I committed to the job, COVID was around. Everything is timing, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's COVID. What are the chances? If all my other movies are being shut down, pushed, this is a sure thing. And I have an opportunity to bring my team, so we're all going to eat here, you know? Take the chance. Boom, I get a call. I'm not even 3 months into it. Boom, another producer that I work with, you know, she's giving me loads of opportunities as company, you know. She hits me up. She's like, Grant, I've got the beast, Idris Elba. I want you to do this movie. I'm like, shit. I'm like, I'm on Resident Evil now. She's like, what? Are you fight coordinating again? I'm like, yeah, it's my passion. I'll never stop doing that. You know what I mean? Because people tend to think, oh, you're a coordinator now. Oh, I don't take my shoes off. I don't get onto the mat.
Yeah.
And that's the other difference that sets me apart. I'm still prepared to go and roll with a kid on a mat and be beat by a kid for maybe. You know what I mean? The ego in this game, people don't want to be seen learning. You know what I mean? Not me. I'll go there. You know what I mean? And I said, I can't leave this. I'm not going to verlaat this bra now on this job. He needs me on this job. And he, you know, Mo is quite. He's a older guy. You know, he's a mentor, a true mentor. That's what I want to see me win.
So it's this Mo's
movie.
Mo's movie that you were working on, and you were just like, sometimes you must humble yourself and be the understudy and.
Yeah, I had nothing to worry about. I had no paperwork to deal with. Just my creative juices flowing, just on the mat. You know, and everything that you see in Resident Evil from an action point of view, whether you hate the movie or not, that's frame for frame how we shot it in rehearsal, how it came into my head from script. Obviously, it's on a script, and I've got to take that thing that's on a script and translate that to a physical action.
What's your process of stunt coordinating? How do you come up with a fight? Do you like, okay, this is how they're going to do this, and stuff like that? Or do you watch movies?
Look,
and
I've always been a movie cop. I've always been the brat to go to the in-town center to the cinema. You know, when you go on a Saturday on the bus and you pay like a rand to get there, you know what I mean? You could go with a 20 rand, your weekend is booked. You go watch Over the Top, Stallone. You go watch Speed, you know.
Jackie Chan,
all that shit, you know what I mean? Nico, Out for Justice, all that shit, you know what I mean? So I was
action movies was the shit in the 90s.
I was just always into that shit. So, you know, I draw a lot of inspiration from those things, you know. Like last night, I watched Speed, top to tail. It's a brilliant movie. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, you know. The movie's just moving all the time, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just drew a lot of inspiration from watching movies. But how I tackle the process is, I read the script, obviously. I see what's in the script. Writers generally, because they're not stunt people, sometimes they overwrite the thing. Like they over descriptive the action, almost like he grabs his hand, breaks it, grabs the other hand, takes the pen, stab him. Some of in the project I've got now, the writers are just like, they go in there, a tussle happens, a brutal fight. What is the fight? I've got to take that line, a brutal fight ensues. One comes out the victor.
Do you know what was going on before the fight? Like, do they like tell you like, listen, yeah, this is what's gonna happen before the fight. Now, what happens next?
No, you must read the story so you know the arc of the character. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Is the character vulnerable? Is the character, where did he just come from?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Is the character?
Does he have a sore leg or?
Yeah. Was he just moored before this? That's gonna affect how he's gonna fight. You know what I mean? Is he a dugdung? Is he still on his journey to becoming a dugdung? So that means he can't be like John Wick, so my optrek. You know what I mean? He's on his way to becoming a hero. So he's got to lose a little bit. The greatest heroes we know is Bruce Willis.
The hero arc.
The hero's got to get fucked for us to celebrate him, right?
Yeah.
Any movie that, look at the John Wicks. I like to use Bruce Willis as an example because I think he's the greatest example of it in the Die Hard films.
Yeah.
He's fucked, man. If you look at, he's fucked, sitting there in a chair, fucked. But he still comes out, you know.
He stands and makes a lot of money.
And so you look, and I look at that. Character arc, number one. Number two, environment. What is in this environment?
In the Resident Evil environment, you seem to have had a lot of things to work off. Like you guys were like, almost like in like hallways like that, and you're like knocked against the one side or jumped off the one side and stuff like that.
And loads to play with. I tell you, our hands were tied in the beginning.
I saw the boxes even that you set up in the one set, like. Oh.
Yeah, and then we measure. We you know, sometimes the sets aren't built yet, but they've got the schematics, you know, and then we in shop. We build, like you saw there.
Like a fake.
Like you saw that hallway that you saw there in that thing. The Indians made that out of paper. They're very innovative. They literally made that hallway out of paper, my bro. You know what I mean?
Then you fight in between.
And you fight in between, and that mimics the alleyway, you know. So we do pretty much the same thing with boxes.
Yeah.
And so we measure out off the schematics, and then we the script is your guide. And the director will tell you, oh man, maybe use the environment. How are we going to use that can? You know, maybe we use that can. Maybe I get choked there. I take that Buddha, hit him. You know what I mean? Maybe I use the Burj Khalifa. What do they call that thing again? Yeah. I use that to impale the O. You know what I mean? Because that's in the environment. You know, you maybe start the fight on an angle where that's in frame, just as an opener. You know what I mean? As a foreshadow. You know, if you watch movies like The Equalizer, you check the Equalizer. He comes in, he's sitting there, poof, and he sees everything: the enchi, the bar, the boof, the gish. He already worked out what he's going to do.
What he's going to do,
You know what I mean?
each shot.
Now that's a very.
And then he locks the door.
And he locks the door. Now you're in your cone. You're ready for. Now the audience know what's going to happen. Now it's a question of how creative can we be? How creative can you use that tool? You know what I mean? Because we've seen it all.
And for the Woman King, you did the Woman King as well.
Woman King.
Did you do choreography on
I was the South African stunt coordinator on it. And
so how did you that is obviously more like a style of fighting. Because
man,
it's like
I can't give anything away, obviously, because the movie isn't out yet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you gotta watch it when it comes out, and I gotta watch what I say, obviously. But stylistically, it was very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. And they had a fight choreographer come out from the States, and the coordinator was Danny Hernandez, very cool guy.
Okay, so you worked with somebody like
an international came on, and he hit me up straight up, bro. He was like, I was pulling a zombie out of a pool at night, and this brother just hit me up, and he's like, hey, I'm doing this movie, and I want you to be the South African coordinator. I'm like, yo, but like, how did you get my number? You know what I mean? And then crazy story, everything. That's why you mustn't say no. Don't be afraid. Everything is on the other side of that door. I didn't want to do the Antwoord, but I met Kagiso. That got me onto Netflix radar. Look at all our movies, Netflix shit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that movie, but my word was my bond. I did the movie, right? I did Resident Evil. Fully allowed to express my creative self to the fullest under my mentor. He was like, you do whatever you want. Ran that floor, gave me that floor that gave those producers and the people, the top brass, let's say, the opportunity to see Grant work like Grant Powell works. You know what I mean? Just me, just being me, And through that, I believe full well that's how the Woman King came about. So I may have took a knock by just being but look at
it sounds like a story of perseverance.
Look at the return, bruh. I get this call out of the blue. Boom. Danny and Ines. I already know the name. I'm like, this is the John Wick, bruh. This is a bruh from
really?
John Wick.
John Wick is one of my favorite movies.
So we get chatting, right, on WhatsApp and what I say, hey, so someone's got to fucking call me, from the production. Next day, they phone me. Deal's done. We get going. There's Woman King. You saw the trailer. The trailer's hot.
Where's the trailer for Woman King?
The trailer's out, bro. There's official trailer.
Go up. Copyright infringement. Okay, we won't do it.
We'll flip on Bob Marley. The track to Bob Marley, and then they flip it to...
no, that's Black Panther that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And Black Panther trailer's warm, I watched a million times.
So it's just crazy how the world connects, right? So let's rewind the tape.
Yeah.
The same coordinator that passed on the Antwoord was doing Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, right? Was being shot here. He hits me up. Before he passes me on the other show, he hits me up. He's like, listen here. His girlfriend at the time, he's like, hey, I'm doing this Vin Diesel movie. But I'm not offering you a job on the movie. I want you to come train my girlfriend, for a couple of days. I think it was for a week or something. Could have been longer. And, just train her, come in. But we paid just for that. So I'm thinking, okay, what are the benefits of this job? I can work my creative juice. At this point, I'm already coordinating, doing jobs, and, but I take the chance and I go and I do the job. Knowing full well in the back of my mind, I'm probably going to meet Vin Diesel, or I'm going to meet JJ Perry. I know he's the international stunt cool. You know who JJ Perry is, right?
Fast and Furious.
Fast Furious. He just done a day shift now on Netflix with Jamie Foxx. JJ is a legend in the game, right?
Yeah, the Fast and the Furious stuff.
So boom.
Crazy.
I come there, train her. They ended up being in another double anyway, but I meet JJ. right?
So you met him.
So JJ's like, listen, man, you need to be in this movie, man. You need to be on this, I'm gonna use you in the opening scene, man, and blah 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 blah. Whatever. I'm like, okay.
On Bloodshot.
Oh, the openings. If you check the trailer for Bloodshot, the first thing you see, that blows up with a grenade. That's me. So that was my last time I had a liquor performance on camera. I lie, Indemnity was, but anyway.
Were you in Indemnity?
Well, I'm the dude that burns to death there.
Oh.
But you don't see my freak
Okay.
You see
Gary's like...
Nah, he's the O in there. He's the O in there.
Yeah, fighting Gary. That's my fuck.
So I meet him, right? And we just shared this day on set, did that sequence. That was that, bro. We had a great connection at that moment in time. And put that to bed. Life goes on. Do the antwoord. Do Queen Sono. Life goes on.
Yeah, do more movies.
I get hit up by Danny. And we get talking. I said to Danny, yo, Danny, how did it end up me, man? Because we got no connection. You know what I mean? And he was like, I just hit up JJ, man. He hit that man up and that man. And he had a list of they gave
South African coordinators.
They gave him a list of South African coordinators, and he's like,
who's the best?
Because he knew. I mean, there are way senior, more coordinators that's ahead of me and stuff, right? Mentors and shit. But hit this man up, and he just said, hey, out of this list, and he said, go with him. He's got a young energy about him. He's on the floor. He's a boots on the ground kind of guy. Blah, 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 whatever, And I can't really account for what was actually said, but that's what he's told me. And he was like, and that's what he said. I just needed to phone him. And that was that. Because I take his word.
So internationally, that your word is
never know where your name is around what table. I never begged to be at anyone's table because I knew I'm gonna make this table. And through that connection, just that real connection, and obviously, maybe there are some skills there, whatever I can't recall even, you know what I mean? I just know we had a good vibe on the day, and I know I did that scene on that day, and I think that was the only 2 days I worked on the movie. Went on to do the Antwoord movie. Fast forward the tape. We finished Woman King, right? Just finished Woman King. Boop. I get an SMS straight up from Danny's bra. Altered Carbon? Altered Carbon, the show?
Yeah, that show that it's just a Netflix show. I've seen it. I haven't watched it, but I think I tried to watch the first episode and I was like,
And I get a message like this, hey, he's like, hey Grant, this is Lionel Stavel. I know the name, okay, big name. He's like, I got your number from Danny. I have a show coming to South Africa. I want you to come on board as a stunt coord. Can't say the name of the show, obviously. Lowenbe will be on the show right now. You know what I mean? So it's just about that connection, and don't be bang. Just go. You know what I mean? Because
show up.
Because as a person of color, as a colored bra, I'm an oddball. Many times you'll have an actor come and like, oh, are you the stunt coordinator? You know what I mean? I had Lou Ferrigno in Romania ask me that. Are you the stunt coordinator? I'm like, no, I'm the fight coordinator. He's like, you're so tiny. And then in the end, me and Lou became good friends. You know what I mean? He's like, he's really fast. And so it's just like this journey's just been tati, my bro. It's been, I can't even believe it at times.
Sounds good, man.
I can't even believe the shit that's happening right now. Like how the world shrinks around me, you know what I mean? And now I'm connecting with all these people, and some of them are great connections. And if I rewind the tape even further, did you guys ever watch this? It's a comedy called Brothers Grimsby.
Yes.
It's a dirty comedy with.
So there was it's two brothers, but it's like old times, it's like based in.
It's like he's like a James Bond.
Oh, wasn't it
Sacha Baron Cohen?
Sacha Baron Cohen, yes, I remember that.
I'm like, my bro, I want to work with this, bro. I'm an Ali G fan, right?
Sacha Baron Cohen, yeah,
Mark Strong is in there, Penelope Cruz is in there.
His brother's a spy or something.
Yeah, a nobby, And I end up doing this movie, and on this movie I meet Chad Stahelski was the second unit director, and he came down and he also interviewed.
Was that movie in South Africa?
Shot the movie, yeah, bro.
I didn't know.
And you know, this oh, he's like the strict Brian or whatever, but he's also like a legend, right? Chad Stahelski, the creator of John Wick. And at this time, John Wick's already happened. And Scott Atkins, you know Boyka? You know Boyka?
Yeah. That
Boyka, bro.
karate.
Undisputed.
Yeah.
You know Undisputed?
Yes, the Undisputed 3, I think he was in.
Nah, he was in all of them. He is Undisputed. He wasn't in the first one.
He wasn't in the first one, yeah.
Yeah, but
he wasn't in the first one. Undisputed 1 was Jai White.
Michael J. White.
Michael Jai White, I
So I
think.
connected with him, and then he came with a fight choreographer, Sam Hargraves, super nice guy, and I know I'm fucking this whole.
So you met Boyka? So.
This whole fucking thing is me fucking name dropping, but
Nah,
anyway,
it's interesting, it's alright.
And it's the truth, you know. And connected with Sam, and so it was just a knock-on effect of meeting the right people, and just meeting people. I don't even want to say right place, right time, just meeting people, and the impression you leave on people, and when they go back and where bigger decisions are made. You know, a lot of times we think, yeah, some other menses controlling the strings in our career or in our life, you know, but there's people at the higher table that's watching. So your audience will change in your journey, you know, and I just think I'm playing for a different audience right now. In my 40s, you know, I'm now 42. And so it was a natural progression. Stunt performer, loved it. Performer, loved it. Transition to fight choreography. Don't think I'll ever leave that. And you're still a baby. Everything is still a baby. I still feel like I'm at the beginning of the shit.
When did you start Jits?
Jits I started, I think 2015 or 2016. I started like I'm a student. I'm gonna do jiu-jitsu.
Did you feel a change in your life?
Absolutely. I feel like through jits, you know, I now had a fundamental understanding of an actual martial art that I'm training and being graded in, you know what I mean? And of course, what I love about it is you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to win. And you're going to support your brasa. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
After you lose, you must support your bride. It's going to go fight next. You know what I mean? And it just humbles you. Every time you step in there, you're going to get humbled.
And obviously, it's obviously your stunt choreography game. It's made.
It stylized it formulated. If you look at Spec Ops, which is like this short films, you know, you got to be passionate about the shit. I don't just do the shit when I'm on a movie set.
Yeah.
Like with the Resident Evil thing that I showed you, it's like we shot that on our own time, on our own steam, just because, you know, I shoot a lot of cack on my cell phone and I post
just did it for fun, sort of.
Just for fun, but that's the ones that people remember. That's the ones that people at another table remember. Oh, people in Egypt, I've been all over the world, man, and people's like, in Egypt, Grant, remember this video you jump on the guy, I want this for the climax. I'm like, what video you fucking talking about? Then it's some old shit I shot on my cell phone, you know, that I uploaded to Instagram, but it stuck with him. And he wrote his movie, and then they will tell me this shit. And it's like, I just remember this clip of how you climbed on this bra, and then you choked him out with your legs. And I wrote the character. He does this in the end. You know, and I'm like, really? That's like a fucking shitty thing, man. But, you know.
But the knowledge of jits is in there. They choke him out. And
you can teach. You got a fundamental understanding of a martial art. You're not bullshitting, you know. So, yeah, jiu-jitsu has been fundamental in my life. And I'll continue to do jiu-jitsu until I can't anymore. You know what I mean? You know.
It's interesting for me. I was also speaking about this, how one art can spark almost like something in the other art, like maybe if it's theater or I do graphic design, that type of art, or stand-up comedy. Sometimes the more arts you embrace, the more it all seems to synchronize itself around. All comes together, yeah.
And it's akin to what I spoke about earlier on, you know, about the arts. When I say the art, not the martial arts, I'm talking about the arts.
All arts. Yeah. Martial art is an art. Singing is an art. All encompassing, I feel.
And I feel like it's just the culmination of it. All just came together. And I feel like it all just came together to put me at the beginning. I feel like I'm at the beginning now, you know.
Do you feel this is the beginning?
But I had so many moments where I was like, this is the beginning. Because it's the truth. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm not there yet. It's like, because you're never there. You're just never there, you know. You think this movie's going to be the all. And people, it's like us, man, bro. I told you earlier when we spoke about, we're in the age of instant gratification. People don't want to see videos longer than 20 minutes. You know what I mean? I'm sure if people watching us live, I probably tuned out when I started talking about fucking, you know.
They did maybe, but there is
you know,
some people that watch the whole thing. I watch the whole thing sometimes.
And, sometimes if it piques my interest, but it's like, yeah, like I said, it all just came together. I feel like if I didn't have Ratanga, you know, and I told you, man, bottom of the totem pole. Imagine me, bro. Everyone's there, dancers, Stunt Owens. And here I'm the over the head. Hey, what's up, guys? You know what I mean? You know, when they go out there, I started wearing stunt pads before I did stunts. Because kids would just fuck you up. Parents would be like, hy gaat moerom. Erkie moerom, skop hom. But then I got fucking shin pads on and like, hey, you can kick me. This is crazy, you know what I mean? You feel like, shit, but I enjoyed that job. For the kids that you could, you know, make their day, I enjoyed that job. And when I did stunts, again, I started stunts, I was now the substitute. I was the sub, the super sub. You know what I mean? I enjoyed being the super sub.
But you excelled at being a super sub. That's the moral of the story. Perseverance.
And the thing is, like, just don't say fucking no, man. If you have no reason to not do it, other than your fear or your insecurity, I believe you kind of cosmically, I'm saying cosmically, but you close off a portal of opportunity that is there already for you.
Yeah.
But because you didn't want to go here, you were afraid. You were just afraid.
Yeah.
You know, that one closes. But when you step through that door, even if this is a fail, that just gets bigger.
Something else.
Because you sacrificed something. You sacrificed your fears. You were like, fuck, I'm scared, but I went anyway. You took the knock on the chin. You left there. You felt cock. But I believe if I didn't go through that door, I shrink that door. I close that door. Because the doors are all open there. We just got to step through it. You don't fucking do it, you know. And stunts is like that. Stunts is like a scary fucking thing, man. It's scary to fucking, I mean, you can go on to YouTube and there's klomp stunts there.
Yeah, you can hurt yourself real bad.
Fucking driving a car, the things all of it, you blowing up, you in the fucking thing driving. What, you know, the first time I cannoned that car, my wife was with, she was my girlfriend at the time. I said, hey, record this shit on your phone, eh? And she was like, what you gonna do? And they strapping me in this car. Fucking bombing it. You know what I mean? It's there on YouTube. Scar. She was recording the ground, my brother.
She's like, it's for real.
You know, she's like, yeah. And I think it's that video where you go, they show real promo 9 years ago. And then that same day, my bro, we did that the morning. 12 o'clock, we were shopping at Canal Walk.
So you shot this you shot this yourself?
No. This was for a movie called Strike Back. I'm driving that car. That's a hot fucking drive right there, brother.
Oh no.
That's it. Boom.
Oh no, bro. Oh shit.
That was so much fun, bro. The next clip is in India. Boom, that's me in India. Boom, that's falling.
No, bruh. Nah.
Yeah, man.
It's not for everybody,
It's not for everyone, bro. It's not.
But I like the message, Grant. I enjoy the message. Like, it's like if you don't try, you won't succeed. Like, and you continue to try, and even if you think you fail in that area or you go through that door, like you're saying, there is something somewhere on the other side of that door.
For sure, there has to be, because you took the leap. Yeah, you know, and if you don't take that leap, you close the door. I believe you've just closed the door.
Can I ask you something? Is there any doors that you didn't deliberately go through because you had a feeling not to go through that way?
In terms of what do you mean, like?
Like just maybe a job where you say you take on everything, but some that you felt that you shouldn't take that, and it proved right after a while.
Man, just because I can't say the movies because they currently done, it just happened to me just recently where everything was lined up, and I was just like, you know, I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I've paid my dues. I'm still paying my dues. But the best thing you can buy in this life is your freedom. You know what I mean? When you can walk away from something, you know what? This is not for me. Because it's not going to be done the way I would have done it. You know, in a safe manner or in a not even a creative manner. You know, that's just not how I would do it, guys. I like good preparation. Indemnity is good because I prepared Jared. He was convincing in his fight choreography delivery. So in other words, if you came to me and said, hey, I got this movie, but you must just stick it on the day and make it up, 10 to 1, I probably won't do it. Because I'm going to deliver a watered down version of what I'm known for. Because you get called up because people know you do quality work. You know, and that quality is in the preparation. A lot of people don't want to pay for that preparation because it's expensive. You know, you're adding 2-3 weeks of like, where are you guys in a gym? You know, they can't understand that, but that's where the preparation happens. That's why movies like John Wick become movies we'll never forget. Because he spent 6 months learning jiu-jitsu. He spent 6 months learning judo. He spent 6 months learning to be an expert at gunplay. That's why people like Tom Cruise...
It looks very convincing, yeah.
That's why people like Tom Cruise will forever make the highest grossing movies of all time.
Because he does...
Because he's got more flight hours than an actual fighter pilot.
100 million per movie.
You know?
Highest paid actor ever.
If
But he's like making his own movies by now.
he calls his own shots, so that's always what you aspire to. Of course, you one is realistic. But yes, you to answer your question, yeah, there've been many moments where I'm like, you know what? And it's maybe with people that I'm grand with, you know what I mean? Like, we cool. But I just can't do it the way you want to do it. Because then it's not going to be the same product. It's going to look slapdash.
Yeah.
It's going to look nwata. I need to show it to you. I need to previs. I need to train the actor. Then shoot it shot for shot. Like you saw there in that previs there, that Indian thing.
Yeah.
To show you that the actor can do it. And where you're going to put that camera. Why would we want to come on set and guess where we're going to put the camera when I can...
So you know before the time in the gym already where that is going to... Oh, because you shot it with a cell phone like you showed us.
No, we shoot it with, sometimes on a
cell phone. So you do
phone.
almost like a test, like that.
We do it frame for frame, complete, just as you see it. Like Resident Evil for me is probably one of the tightest examples of when you see the action, and I'm going to start posting up on my YouTube channel.
Frame for frame, what is
exactly.
in the gym is happening in the movie.
Because the thinking is done already. Put the camera here, this, and we go. We save time and you save money. The latter is going to cost you more money because you're going to go, you know what? We didn't get that scene. It wasn't convincing. And the studio will cough up the money later. But then it's like, what's the saying? They say, penny wise, pound foolish.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Spend the money on the preparation. When we walk on set, we do it in one go because we've already done it. You get what I'm saying? It makes sense. So when someone, whether it's a producer or director or someone I'm cool with, a producer particularly says, then I say, you know what? I'm actually not the guy for it because I want to work. I almost want to go up. I want to do better. You know what I mean? I don't want to come in and go backwards. Why would I want to do that? We go up and we bring it to a standard, And so now you see with movies like Indemnity, just now.
Yeah.
People are going to chase that standard. And they're going to realize when they get there...
but the standard is high. Like, because all the Netflix South African stuff.
If they don't put in... The only way you get to that product is because the time was put in. Jared was prepared to come in and do the training required to throw a convincing punch, to take a knock, to be able to throw someone, to be able to understand the fundamentals of that particular martial art. And that's why it looks good. So now people are like, bro, we need to do a movie like that. And there's loads that's going to come out now, But we usually do long form films. So we do projects. It's half a year of your life. It's one show, on a long form project, on the bigger shows.
The series and stuff like that.
Series like right now, we're going to probably be in like 10 weeks of preparation. And then we shoot for 6 months. You know what I mean? Then we shoot for 6 months. That's how it was on Resident Evil. That's why I was on Woman King. That's how it was on, Strike Back. That's how all these...
Hours are long or so, eh?
Hours are long. It's not for everyone. Like I say, don't believe everything you see on Instagram. That shit is fucking... everything that glitters isn't gold, By the time you see the quiet clip, that's already 14 hours we were there. Men are moaning, complaining about prosthetics. Oh, this is cock, this fuck, this chopper. And I don't see them posting that shit. You know what I mean? I don't see them posting that shit. So it's tough. You need to have a certain... You must be made for the shit. It's not for everyone, man. And it comes from maybe for me it's been, growing up in Strandfontein or coming from a background where we didn't get everything, So I can go another.
It's being in that suit, like you said.
It's being in that suit, bro. It's being in that suit, going the extra mile, turning around. Hey, it's like his birthday. They're gonna sing him another number now, but I'm sweating me in my cone.
Yeah,
back.
There's a lot of the kids these days. They don't have that perseverance, bro.
Get what I'm saying? Because
they don't have that perseverance. They haven't been in that suit, like you know what I mean.
Saying? And it's hard for me as a young dad. I'm a young dad. My boy's only 5. So it's hard to in this day and age. In the age of games and instant gratification, and I mean, it's not safe to let our lighties go play outside anymore and shit like that, right? Like Anadag, if I think back, my mom used to say shit like, if I just think back, we staying we in Rocklands, my bro, or the lady that looked after me, Joyce at the time, rest her soul, she's gone, and she say shit like, gaat spelen buiten. Gaat spelen aan die park.
They want to get their house.
Hey, kijk waar die strangelen, hè. Ja, like legit, they'd say that shit.
And
they'd say that shit. They'd be like, gaat spelen buiten. Gaat spelen aan die park. En hey, kijk waar die strangelen, hè. And you just go, or you go play, we trap straight to the bush. Our kids could
play in the dunes.
Our kids could never do that today, So I hope through martial arts that he would get, some good grounding. And I'm just winging the shit, being a dad, trying to instill the best that I can in him, and hopefully he can see through the work that we do. And the quiet thing is, like my kid's 5, he already knows. He'll be like, nah, you saw search me now on YouTube. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
He's proud. So I guess the coolness of the advent of social media, or media as it is these days, your legacy is already behind.
Yeah, you can show them.
You've already left something behind. Yeah. God forbid if I were to leave tomorrow, you've already got this. People can do that, like that video.
Yeah.
Where did they get that shit? They just searched me, bro, and they put their own thing together,
I got hours of content for my lighties to go through.
It's crazy.
Maybe I'm not talking all the time, but they can maybe one day appreciate this. My thoughts as a 30 or 40-year-old actually now. Yeah. But yeah, it's cool that we leaving something behind. You say like it. Our kids train together at jits and stuff
Yes.
And your son is skiing. He's getting stuck in with the jits, like
brother. That kid is in it, my bro. That man is on my heel hooking the lighties and shit. But he's just watching, he's I guess because I started bringing him to the adult class, like, hey, just come with me, give mom a bit of a break at home,
Yeah.
The wives love it when they can just, sit in front of the TV or whatever, So he started seeing and I guess he started seeing, because I'm a small guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so hey, you doing well against these big guys, you know what I mean?
He saw that.
You can defend yourself. I want that too, because at school they get bullied and stuff, you know. These things are already happening to our kids, And so I guess there's a part of him that wants to be able to protect himself and all that shit. So let's see.
The interesting flip side of that is that I also got the son. He's also 5, but he's a big guy, right?
Yeah, I know your boy.
Yeah, so he is able. Him and his sister, they go at it sometimes, right?
Yeah.
So he's able to sort of overpower her sometimes. But now you've noticed that she's gotten involved in the jitsu class, and she is able to follow instruction a lot better than he is. So she now uses the jits on him. So he uses the power, and she uses she flips him. Oh, now too, and she's starting to, and she knows how to center her body to keep him, even though she's lighter than what he is.
She's using her weight.
She's using her weight to keep him down. Now she's checking. Oh, okay. This is so in her brain is already starting to calculate. Oh, you can be bigger than me, and I can be smaller.
I can neutralize you.
But these things, if I listen to my dad, X, A, B, C, I'm in a beautiful position.
Thing. I mean, he understands close guard, open guard, passing guard, side control, mount,
it's dope,
take
man.
the back. I mean, for a 5-year-old to get that, I just hope that he continues with it.
Yeah.
And
the
light is also like us. Then he's bike drunk. then he's, I want to go to the bike park. Okay, now he's into skating again. Then the next thing's I want the trampoline. But we gotta let our kids do everything, We didn't do all those things.
That's a good attitude there, bro.
Yeah.
My son is like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, you don't tell me.
Yeah.
Something like it. My daughter, she's like, okay, Dad, I'll do it with you.
Yeah.
So there's different, they grow up differently. And
Exactly.
They all have a different mind.
And wherever he's going to go, I'm going to support him.
Oh, wait.
Wherever he goes. Now you're in a business. My own mom said to me, like, I think he was like 2 years old at the time. And mom was like, weet je wat? Cody's got more toys than you at 2 years old than you had in your entire childhood. And that's a fact, my son. I'm telling you that.
Spoiling him, man.
And I'm like, and in my mind, I don't even think I'm really spoiling him. You know, I'm the strict one. My wife is the spoiler. You know.
But I mean, you want to give them stuff that you never had. You know,
but I'm very conscious about it. I don't want to. I'm really old school like that. I really try to curb that excessive, where you just get. You know what I mean? I'm very old fashioned like that. Like you'll see. You know, I'm also like a poster, you know, more stories than anything else. You know, you'll always see my boys always help me clean the yard. He likes to wash the cars. And I think that's a good trait for him to have, you know. And he's like, Dad, if we do this, and we're going to go afterwards. I'm almost finished. I'm almost finished. Are we going to go to Freedom Park?
Yeah, I get
like,
that.
And then my wife's like, you can't do that. And I'm like, but it's a good thing. He's already getting it. He's already understanding, like, okay, reward. Because that's how I grew up, you know. I grew up on that principle of reward, you know. Okay, if I do this, you know, I'm going to get a reward. I'm not just getting. I have actually no memory of me just ever saying to my mom, I want that thing and getting it. She'll be like, what? You must first do this. And I appreciated that even now in my 40s. So I want to make sure that
They got the place. They got Freedom Park. We never had those things.
I'm telling you now, I speel in die bos. En uitkyk vir die strangler.
They love that Freedom Park and jumping and activities and the slushy. They must get the slushy
and all that shit.
But anyway, man, we've been going for quite a while.
Yeah, we're going for long now.
I really appreciate. Like I said, like the story you told me, it sounds like you persevere, man.
I'm going to take this picture right here, right now, dog.
Take it there, was.
Dope.
Yeah, man. Like I say, it sounds like you seem to persevere a lot, Grant. Like that's what I'm getting from like just and yeah, it's a good it's an interesting, good story to try to. I mean, even now we can apply that to ourselves at this age. Like just keep going that way.
And I don't even feel my age, to be honest, man. It's like sometimes I skrik, I realize I'm right still on my shit, 38 or whatever, and I'm like, fuck, I'm actually 42, you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, but 40 now is not like 40 back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like as a joke, I say, it's trying to work. And it's like my dad, he like had a mustache when he was like 40. I don't feel like I must have like, you know what I mean? I feel like I must still wear like a hoodie. And
people just want to be, we want more out of life. We want to live longer. And so you find out the woman is almost like they look after themselves more now. You know, a woman of 40 don't, like back in the days, if you remember being in primary school and you saw the parents, that looked like parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That looked like parents. You know what I mean? Everyone's parents look like parents.
Even the hairstyles and everything.
You know, they just looked old, but life was just different back then, you know? And so we want to keep young. I still want to be able to, let's say Cody wants to get involved in this game, you know what I mean? I would love that, obviously, if you were to carry on with fight choreography, for action design, for film. You know, it would almost be, but fuck, if we could work together, father and son and shit. That's like my dream. Obviously, I'm not even force that shit on you, but, you know, I still want to be physically capable to do it at 60. And that's kind of where my head's at. And so I'm trying to look after myself better now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look after myself. Yeah, I still eat anything, but for most, I try to eat good. For most, I'm training just twice a week, at least class where I'm a student. Obviously, my office is a gym. You know what I mean? So we constantly getting a role in. It's constantly physical. You know, so I'm constantly getting that stimulation. That stimulus is still there every day.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what keeps me young, both physically and at heart, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel I'm never going to stop doing that shit.
Yeah, man.
Until I'm
just going to keep going.
Stunts, I'm selective. You know what I mean? Stunts, I've paid my dues. I'm still paying my dues. And I'll be selective of who I do it for. And I'll choose if I want to do them. You know what I mean? Now you're a stunt coordinator. Now you've got that falls on you now. You know what I mean? You're responsible for that person, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I like to think that you got to do it from a place. Personally, you're going to get people, other stunt people that maybe went the other route. I believe if you did it, you can teach it. You know what I mean? I did it. I've been through the glass. I've been in that car. I've been on fire. I've been on the end of that punch.
So now
I've been. So I feel I'm coming from a knowledgeable POV, a point of view. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Whereas if you came to me and like, my bro, now you're my coordinator, but your stunt career didn't even last more than 5 years. Come on, dog. Come on, man. Come on, man. You must be synonymous with the subject. If people go, Grant Powell, stunts, you should be one Google or have seen, this brand loves it. This is what he does. And a lot of the interviews or job opportunities that come our way, and internationals or directors that speak to me, you know, you always have that table meet, and then you're sitting there with your laptop, you want to show them, they just close, and I just wanted to meet the guy. You know, I wanted to see if you're the guy that I see on Insta, you know, because that's what I'm looking for, someone that's still on the floor. Not someone that's pointing, someone that's engaging, you know, because if anyone's passionate about their movie, why wouldn't you want that for your movie? Why wouldn't you want someone that's passionate about it, that's going to literally take his shoes off, get sweaty, makkelijk take a couple of squirts to the back, because actors always moor you in the face. And you know, and a lot of the times like that, in these interviews, that's the guy I wanted. I didn't want someone that's going to stand there and point. You know, and I feel that's also what sets me apart, you know, because a lot of the you know, they just don't do it anymore. Some of them are maybe of an age they say, they don't do that shit anymore. They delegate that shit. I still want to do that shit. I still want to get my shoes off and get in there and, you know, get in there with actors and get in there with the stunt guys, you know, because you also get the respect of your peers. They see, nah, die man, hy weet, hy kan wys, you know. Automatically, instantly, when someone sees, imagine I'm trying to show you a combination of a fight sequence, but I myself can't even do a slip, hook, naba.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, you must be able to.
There's nothing better when you come and they go like, nah, it must look like that. You know, I want it to look like that when I do it. Now you instantly have a good rapport with your actor because they believe you. You're not bullshitting them.
Yeah. And they can see by the way you move.
Oh, for me,
you can see easily if a person can really throw a punch simply by the way they move.
Honestly, like currently, our current show, we go through about 500. We're literally going to go through 500 people in 1 week. Something like 70 a day for the whole day. Castings, auditions, essentially. And out of that, if we get 30 people, my bro,
That can throw a proper punch.
that can move, perform, and it's a whole package, not just throwing a punch.
Okay.
Can you perform? Can you come out of your shell? Can you be an angry man? Can you be a calm man? Can you be a comedic man? Can you be a gay man? Can you be it's all acting because you're playing a role.
Yeah.
You know? Can you play an agent? Can you play an agent that's scared? Can you play an agent that's caught on kak? Can you play the bad guy? It's all acting. All that shit that I learned in Ratanga, that, you know, all that shit that I learned over time doing theater. You know, that's the key. The physical attributes must be there, of course. But if you can't act, then it's not for you. You must be able to imagine, have imagination. Can you imagine doing a movie like Resident Evil where there's fuck all monsters? None of that shit's there, right? You know that. There's nothing to work off. Sometimes it's just a pole with a green ball on front. That's a caterpillar. Fuck you! You know what I mean? And you gotta act this shit. You know what I mean?
Alright.
You're scared it's behind you. You gotta act now. Yeah, you can throw a punch, but can you act? Because if you can't act, I can't put you in front of camera. You're just gonna be the guy taking a step, dropping, and even that you need to perform. You know? So I chase the people that can perform over and above the people that come there with the big muscles and gebouw, make me do a stunt. 10 to 1, they stiff as hell. They can't move. They don't have the flexibility in their body to dance, you know, because essentially fight choreography is dancing.
Yeah.
It's a series of moves like a Michael Jackson dance sequence.
Stands, yeah.
Smooth Criminal. It's used that in his example. Ding, 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 ding. You remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember.
Iconic, right?
Yeah.
Stunt fighting. That's what they were doing. You know what I mean?
You've been nicked back.
He throws the back. but hitting their marks. Fight choreography is a dance. And if you have the ability to remember a sequence of moves and perform it, you're gonna be a good. You're gonna be a good. There's someone commenting.
Away, Grant.
If you can, Ross. Yeah, Ross has also done a past stunts in his day. I pull all the Owens into the game. You know what I mean? Because you got a cop on him. You know what I mean? He understands you. You know, we roll with Ross all the time. Ross and I have been rolling. Like I said, since 2015, 2016 already. But he's a studious grappler. That man will study now a move and he'll fang you with that move forever. You know what I mean? Because he studied that shit.
Yeah.
But you got to have your head screwed on. It's never the best stunt guys.
That's some good insight that you're telling to the stunt guys. The best, like the movement of a stunt person. Like you're saying, like it's a dancer. It's interesting.
Yeah,
it's not like
the best stunt guys is not the Owen said. Like I say, I'm an oddball. That's why people will, when they see me, literally they'll say like, yo. When people meet, I thought you were big Brian. What? Like,
that's the first thing they say.
I was expecting a white broom. Literally, they'll say that shit in my face, and I'm like, "What do you mean?" Nah, the way
Paul,
they mean to talk of
Paul don't help.
you know what I mean? And they just expected the shit, or they expect me to.
It's like a big like. It reminds me of the scene from Braveheart. Like I thought William Wallace was 7 feet tall.
Exactly, bro. And it's like I'm an oddball. Listen to how I sound, my bro. Can you imagine 2 days from now I'm gonna sit on a Moorse fucking table, probably be the only colored brew there, talking the way I talk, describing how we're gonna do Moorse action sequences. You just gotta be confident, man. I am who I am. That's never gonna change. I've paid my dues. It's undisputed. You can look that shit up. And so I know what I'm talking about, And when you carry that, people will believe you. There's always going to be a couple of freak markers. Obviously, that's life. You can't be in this game without that. If you're not, you only get scored if you're in the front, my bro. If you're in this game and you don't have a paar slote weg, when I say slote, I mean that metaphorically and physically, right? If you don't have squatter, that means you're at the back in my book. You know what I mean? Then you're playing at the back, bro. You're going to get people that love you in this game. And you must remember, as equal as they love you, there's going to be people that listening to this like, fuck that nigga. Is what it is. The sooner you can subscribe to that fact, the easier your path is. You know what I mean? The easier your path is in this game, because it's look at the cuck we fucking doing. Like I told you that day, flip a card. Next thing we pushing a cart, arguing about milk in Canal Walk. 2 hours ago, I was in a flaming car upside down, not knowing if I'm going to walk out there in a wheelchair or some shit. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. These things are obviously, there's safety protocols in place that mitigate. You must know our job is to mitigate risk. What protocols am I putting in place to ensure that the chance of it happening it gets less and less and less, because I'm putting in all these protocols, you know what I mean? Because safety management is what we do, When they're burning, what are the materials we're using? What kind of combustible are we going to use on the person? All depends, You get violent burns, you get light burns, you get, And so transitioning from stunts to coordinating, for me, demands that you must have done it before.
Yeah.
Because I know, Kaki, when I light you up, you're probably not going to know you're on fire because you're ice cold right now.
Yeah.
But it's going to accelerate very fast, because glue and petrol burns burns hot very quick. So you got about 15 seconds before this is going to become, put me the fuck out. Then you need to be able to understand fire and understand that if I keep moving, that flame will be behind me. And don't panic, don't drop. Because now fire goes up. So you start to understand the elements of danger. You know what I mean? You start to understand the element of danger. If I'm gonna hit that car too fast, the likelihood of shit going, I don't need to do it at that speed, etc., etc. You know what I mean? Same with fights. You know what I mean? I understand now. If I understand camera angles, when I'm shooting waist up, I can put the mats down. There's no need to wreck the guy. Why must I fuck him up? I'm cutting the shot. I'm going to cut to one shot where he's doing the gag. Now he's doing the gag, And even then, How does the floor look? Can Scenic paint the floor? Can they paint Sando to look like the floor? He's actually falling on a mat, you just don't know it. You know what I mean? And he's got pads on underneath. So the risk of him getting injured is actually very low, but it looks gnarly.
You make stunt work sound like art.
Yeah, now the people go, yo, me bro, I'm not gonna do that. But fuck, just you see I go through that glass. Truth is, you feel fucking when you go through it.
Because
you know when you get hurt, when you land on the glass, that's where the risk happens. Because you're falling on pieces of glass. You're gonna get cut, but not when you go through. That thing is actually going off before you hit it. That's the special effects guy's job. His timing must be in. As he pops that thing, you know. So it's an art. For me, I tackle this shit like it's art, bro. It's not just some we dumb Owens doing stunts. It's well thought out, rehearsed, and if the budget is big enough, we test everything. Everything's tested before the time. That person isn't jumping off that rig for the first time. We already shot this thing. You know, we know exactly the lengths. We know exactly where, you know, where to release, where to let go, where to stop. So when they, by the time the actor gets there, man, the chance of this going wrong is fucking slim, man. Something mechanically or
mitigating that risk is very
gross
important.
human error can fuck this up. You know what I mean? So, and that's scary. It gets me, freaks me out, and it excites me at the same time. Because when you execute it and you see that stunt guy stand up, or if you're the stunt guy doing it, and you come out of there and you're like, bro, I'm all good. You know, and over the years of performing, I always used to start thinking of my diet. What am I going to have after this? You know, I'm going to do the stunt number. What am I going to have after this? You know, then if I start thinking like that, then generally things are going to go well, you know. But things can go wrong. It's stunts. It's called stunts for a reason. You know what I mean? And I myself have been injured.
Have you been badly injured?
Probably worse was my collarbone. You know, the collarbone is a thing. There's really nothing they can do. You know, you just got to wait for it to heal up. I've had
Any shoulder dislocations after that collarbone injury?
None yet, though. None yet. No. Ankles.
I had a collarbone first, like when I was very young. And then when I was older, I started to get like a dislocation. And now my shoulder keeps popping out.
You got to watch that shit in jits, bro. It's probably going to fucking happen.
It happened already.
You know,
Coach Jan had me in the armbar, but he knew about it, so he didn't even yank on it. So he just added pressure to the sides of it. So he didn't pull on it. He just added pressure to the sides of it, and it popped. And then the other time, he was holding it, Coach Jan was holding it, and I pulled my arm. So he was just sitting holding it like, and I pulled my arm like away from him, and it came out. So he was holding it so tight, like, so it happened twice already. And the first time when it happened, we were like, oh shit. The second time, he didn't even put anything on. He just applied pressure to the sides, like, and it like popped out.
Yeah, you know,
it's just the pressure, like both times, like,
in our game,
you never even.
Your body's your tool, bro. You know what I mean? So you gotta.
Coach Jan has got a lot of control, so it was never his fault, but I'm scared with a white belt. Because a white belt will sort of pull.
They'll go crazy.
Like rip on my arm. So that's why.
Nuts on your ass.
Yeah. And with the higher belts, it's sort of safe, like, because they know not to do it. Like
they can practice control.
And but they can feel. I've even rolled with you, and you don't like yank on the person's arm. If you're gonna do it, you do it slowly. You can feel with like, honestly, I've whenever you roll with like higher belts, I can feel they don't pull. Yeah. They sort of just like.
I roll very, my style, if I can call it that, of grappling is very like. As my one time already pull guard from the side, I like to put myself in vulnerable positions, you know, because that's a real life scenario, right? You want to put yourself in the kakker's position.
Oh, I hate being on the bottom, bro.
Yeah, but I want to get comfortable there. Fear. I want to be comfortable there. I want to be able to be comfortable there, and so I play that game. Of course, you want to play top game. You're gonna use less energy, I believe, and but. Where I am now in my journey in jiu-jitsu, I want to play all the cuck positions. Yeah. I want to be fucking mounted. I want to see if I can get, you know.
And when the heavy Owens mount you in the gym.
Fuck, Elaine and Tom and fucking Ross.
Even Ross.
He's a beast, man. You know, he just plays with you, man. That guy can take out anyone in my.
But isn't it that pressure is like.
I mean, and of course, Coach Gary himself.
Yeah.
The beast.
He's so small.
Gary will make you feel like you never even started.
Yeah,
jits.
like
You make you feel like you never even started the shit. Just these aggressive style of jiu-jitsu is to finish it quick, you know. And it's you know, it's hectic. I'm probably gonna roll with him tomorrow and get smashed. But I look forward to it. But let's wrap this up.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
man, let's
go.
wrap it up. Yeah,
It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go.
Did we go 2 hours? I thought we were an hour and a half.
I'm sure
Anyway.
your audience are going, yeah, this stuk. Wie say this stuk?
You know what? You gave me a lot of stuff to clip there. You gave me some good stuff to
You're
clip
gonna cut the good stuff, right?
Yeah,
Cut the good
and
stuff.
we're gonna put it out on other platforms. But yeah, shot for joining me.
Thank you guys.
Thank you everybody
Appreciate
else. Like, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna upload this on YouTube tomorrow morning, so it will go live on YouTube. And I think I'm gonna cut some clips. So yeah, that's it. Thanks, Grant. Yo,
Lekker, man. I
it's been a
appreciate
lekker
it.
chat. I never knew it was gonna go this long, but
Brother, I
it's
told
been
you.
good, bruh.
Don't let me go with this mouth, bro. Don't let me go.
That's good, man.
All right, cheers.
Anyway, cheers. Safe. We out.
Bye-bye.
This is the joeZONE.